Let me now introduce, welcome Gloria, our expert, who will be joining the discussion. I think we went into a detailed introduction to Gloria before, so we're going to skip all of that and quickly rush into the discussions with the winners. So to the discussion, I would also like to invite Rizvana, Androsh, Tunde, Luis, and Samita, who will be joining us in taking this panel discussion forward. So just to give a kickstart things for this session, I just wanted to start with something that I was thinking of while listening to everyone and all the jurors as well. So the jurors kept on asking about scalability, sustainability, business models, and is it actually practical, and what are the hardware, software you're using currently, and what are the price points? So I think these are very important and very crucial factors to consider when you come up with a project, especially an idea which you turn into a project, and then purely based on the sustainability side of the project. So what I wanted to start the conversation with giving the chance to 5 of our winners to very briefly tell us or to share their experience in terms of, as a startup and as a project that stemmed through an idea and went into development, what steps have you taken to ensure that whatever the idea and the project you have established at this point will grow not only just in your local space, but also to the wider world? So that involves scalability, that involves sustainability, and that also involves a business model that's practical. So probably if we can start with Androsh from Cycle AI.
From Colibri.
Oops, sorry. Yes. Actually, if Luis can start from Cycle AI, that'd be great. Yes. Sorry about that. All right. Okay. So we are left with Tunde and Luis, correct? Right. Right. So, so Luis, as I mentioned, if you can just tell very briefly as to how you anticipate taking your current project to the wider world. What are the steps you will take in ensuring that it's sustainable? Yeah, I think we've lost Luis there. Tunde, would you be able to answer that question?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think, I will just quickly, so I don't take much of our time. From my own experience, what we've done so far, to ensure sustainability, in our venture, because when we started, we thought we could incorporate blood bank into our model such that we collect blood, process blood, and bank the blood, the unit of blood we get, and also delivers the blood. But now we thought, the best way to actually scale for us was using an asset-light model. We allow blood bank to do what they know how to do best: collect blood, bank the blood, and we focus on what we know how to do best: ensure last mile penetration. That means if we are moving from Nigeria to, like I said, Benin Republic, or to Kenya, Rwanda, any other place, we can also work with blood bank. It's sort of sustainable partnership. So we allow them we use our own technology to actually make sure they can function. So we use our technology to increase blood donation, to ensure they can retain donors, and to ensure they can trace donors, and to ensure donors are motivated. And they focus on what they can do best: collecting the blood, banking the blood, processing the blood, while we also focus on logistics. So using such asset-light model allows us to spend little on initial setup costs. So we don't spend a lot to do that. So that means we can easily move from one place to another and expand like that. So asset-light model has been some very, very key point for us in Land&Am as a venture, and of course, and sustainable partnership too. For our drones, we didn't buy any of those drones. we relied on partnership. So we have drone coming, then we have it's sort of cost sharing model with our partners. So that makes also the initial cost very low on our side. And of course, environmental sustainability, trying to like replace our renewable energy with drones. Fossil fuel with drones, and also trying to like make sure everything we use in our chain are actually biodegradable material, from the blood, from the carriage to the blood bags and other things. They are renewable material. So these are some of the strategies we've adopted in London, and that's actually making us grow very fast. Thank you.
All right, great. Thanks a lot for that. Gloria, would you like to just share some insights from your experience in terms of sustaining a business, in terms of taking a business to another, for expansion purposes, to another locality? What are your experiences? What are your insights and thoughts, please?
Absolutely. First of all, I just want to congratulate all the presenters and speakers who spoke about your project. It was very insightful. I'm very happy to see such great solutions that are being implemented to solve, problems that really need to be addressed. In terms of scalability and sustainability, this is a topic that even to this day, I think any company would say they struggle with, because the main thing you have to always look at is, one, have you already dotted your I's across all your T's where you currently are at before you can scale or before you can expand? Have you made sure that you've looked at the financial size of it, your team? One thing I remember I struggled a lot with was having the right team members, and being able to make sure that every team member understood their assignment, understood what it was that we're required to do, understood their role. And then in terms of that, was it necessary then to scale? Was it the right time? So a lot of times we get really excited and we'll be like, okay, yes, we need to expand. We need to go here. I want to take this to, another country, another continent, but we're still struggling to make sure everything is set where we are at. So that's something I always try to advise anybody who wants to scale. Just make sure that you have set that everything you have and need is already set, or you're working towards that before you take that major risk of scaling or building up. But I do have a question I would like to ask Tunde, if that's all right, just in terms of competition. And I think this would be applicable to the other presenters and the other winners, like Samita, in terms of CocoRemedy. Do you face any competition in what you're doing, or have you faced any competition in your in finding and implementing your project? And also, Tunde, in terms of onboarding, have you had issues in onboarding hospitals? And if there were, what were those issues?
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Of course, we face, I think, we in Nigeria at the moment, we have, we are just in the market in Nigeria, that I know of in Nigeria at the moment. So, and the leader in the market has been around for over 5 years, and we are just coming up and trying to create that, that competitive environment to ensure services are delivered. But so, we looked at, the model, and then we looked at what we could improve in our model because of those personal issues we faced as individuals, and my co-founder also faced in terms of getting blood and accessing blood. So in terms of what we're doing differently, we, of course, like I said, number one, that we're pioneering the use of delivery drones. Number two is that we're introducing the AI to the, to blood donation, into the blood donation environment. So we have, last year we deployed this AI on WhatsApp, Telegram, and other social media platforms where people can have it when there's an emergency anywhere. There's a code you can press on that particular, on your Telegram within our bots that will actually alert our system and make sure things are actually flowing well. And then we have a robust system, a robust emergency system where that starts with the doctor and ends with the doctor. So the doctor activates the emergency system, and we are there. So we look for ways to actually be faster because blood is actually life. So we've looked for ways to actually beat that, that time. So within our delivery time to 30 minutes has made sure, we remain at the forefront of the competition. That's one. Two, for onboarding, blood banks, so hospitals, of course, it has been difficult. People are used to their usual way of life. Because, most people want to exploit patients, and also they want to just, get money from patients and then get any kind of blood available, whether it's diluted blood. For example, there was a time when I was in a hospital and then they've transfused this patient with more than 5 pints of blood, and the blood barely raised by 1%. 5 pints of blood. So we came in and we gave 2 units and it raised by 6%. So we looked for, with that testimony, we actually tried to go, into to the hospital and show them what we can do. And our prices are really competitive because we get blood from the source. National Blood Transfusion Service actually is the body that is in charge of blood donation bank, and so we get blood from them directly. So our prices are really competitive in the market, really. So that has ensured, and our delivery time to ensure that hospitals stick with us no matter what. We deliver in the night, in the middle of the night, anytime, anywhere, anyhow. We make sure we deliver. We are there for them. So that has made sure, we keep on retaining, we get them on board and keep on retaining them onto our platform and onto us. And then of course we provide other services to hospitals. Like we also, we give them this rapid testing kit for them to know, how many, a sort of, the volume of blood the patient has lost and the volume of blood that is remaining in the patient body. So we have such testing kits that we give to them as a sort of value-added service. So that has ensured they always, warm up to us, and then we retain them onto our platform.
Yeah, that's great. And I think that was a great question as well from Gloria. Do we want to go to CocoRemedy and get the input as well?
So for us, the challenge was there were so many competitions for different disease and pest like identification, and those developed application has not sustained. So for as young innovators, it was hard for us to convince the people that we will provide the solution really. So it was like Gloria explained, it was hard for us to make up a team first. So we had to do several presentations at CRI. We had to convince that we are different than the other competitors available for disease identification. We are doing something different, and we had to convince them. So that was a biggest challenge. And after CRI was like Coconut Research Institute of Sri Lanka, which is a government state company which is related for coconut, they finally agreed on our solution, and now they are also talking to expand our application for India as well, because in India, in Kerala region, if we consider the loss of coconut is 90 million per year. So our application will be sooner upgraded and like globalized to India and other coconut growing countries. So basically we started as a small group, and now with the support of CRI as well as our university, we think we can globalize CocoRemedy in the future.
That's great. Gloria, was that, do you want to do another round of question and answer from your perspective? What are the important things that as a team that who's looking to progress their project and take it forward, what are some of the key factors or key capabilities that you think in a team that we should have?
Great question. I think it depends on your management style, right? So understanding your management and your leadership style. That will give you a better idea of who you're more compatible with and the type of person, but also the skill set. All right. That's why I said it's really important to have a job description, understand a job description, and have somebody who can fulfill that. But a lot of times we may have people who are technically right for the role, but who may not be the right fit for the role because either they lack the management style, or they lack the experience, or they lack whatever that foundation that's needed to supplement that skill set. So having a well-rounded person, sometimes I lean more towards somebody who has a better management style versus more of a technical side, because I feel like that's more easily accessible than finding a good leader. So that's always my go-to in terms of that, but it may be different in terms of, your company and how you operate. But I also was really curious in terms of the financial aspect. I know we touched on this earlier on, but I still would like to know, what are you doing to ensure that you're not financially dependent on maybe just donors? How are you building up in terms of, your finances to finance your resources to build on that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think it's something I wanted to discuss as well, because throughout the sessions from the time we started on the 22nd, these were some of the key questions that we asked most of the presenters, and some were able to answer. Some were purely funded by another party. But that's where the whole sustainability part came in. So why I wanted to also touch base on the sustainability side was purely to get to this point you just brought up. So that's great, and thank you, Gloria, for taking things forward from there on. Who would like to start first in terms of Miguel? I think you're here from Cycle AI. Yes, so if you could just share some thoughts in terms of what Gloria mentioned about your financial stability and how you get about it in order for sustainability.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for having us here. Regarding the financial sustainability, it's a very important topic for the startups and early stage companies, and as you might understand. In our side, we had the luck of being supported by various grants given by public entities and also private companies to develop our product and set our prototype. We also had the technological and technical support by big corporations such as Microsoft, because we are a Microsoft for startups startup. So in that aspect, we still don't have like a business plan in place that enables us to get profitable and to have and reach the financial sustainability point that we need. But we've been able to avoid the death valley of startups where we run out of funds without having a product established. So yeah, it's a tough point, because either you go out for venture capital with all the risks and all it takes to get there, or you have to find your own way into having the funds to develop your idea. Either that being by accessing to grants, public or private, or then you have the triple F factor, right? Like the friends, family, and fools that may give away some money to you to develop your idea. Either way, it's a tough decision. It's a tough process. I mean, it's hard to develop a project without funding. We've been managing to do so because our founding team is capable of taking things into place, but I reckon it's not easy, and we're not in such a stable point of financial sustainability yet. One day, or I mean, in the future, once we have our product established, which will be soon, we expect to get our business model via B2B2C. So we expect to have partnerships with companies that provide the service to users without an explicit cost. So
that's great, Miguel. So I think that's a great way to look at it. But I think as Gloria mentioned, I think it's very important that even at a starting point that you do have an idea and that you do have an understanding of where you want to be and what sort of funding you require and how you continue to have that funding coming in while you also have an influx of revenue to make sure that your project is viable, feasible, and also continued in the process. Gloria, you want to share any final thoughts regarding to the whole sustainable business model scenario for startups and these young innovators over here?
No, I don't have anything in regards to that, because I feel like, everybody kind of spoke and has a clear understanding of either what they need to do or where they're going. I do want to say that, to keep the faith. But sometimes it can be a little bit daunting, especially when you encounter challenges or when you get a lot of no's or doors slammed in your face, or, when you work so hard and people sometimes don't see the vision or see the dream. but that's why I always say the reason behind why you do a project sometimes can be the key motivator is to sustain you to keep going. So just keep the vision, keep the faith, keep holding on, because you guys already made it this far. So that in and of itself is a major accomplishment. So use that as another stepping stone to be bigger, badder, and better. That's
great, Gloria. And I think that's a very strong closing note and a very strong bit of inspiration for all of the young innovators here, and also to the ones listening in, to everyone who participated during the sessions. So that was, as all the jury members mentioned, I think this young innovator category has been and will be one of the toughest sessions or segments to vote for in the next couple of minutes, because I think everyone brings in different perspectives, different stories, different walks of life that has made things reality. And I think that's great inspiration for all of us in the corporate world, in the startup world, and even somebody who's just really starting to think about what they want to do in the next couple of years. So that's great, and thank you, everyone. Thank you to Cycle AI, to Hydroquo, to Colibri Charity, Lend an Arm, and CocoRemedy from across continents for joining us today and for giving and sharing their stories with all of us. It was so inspirational, and I think you guys are really awesome. So like Gloria said, don't lose faith and keep the faith, just keep going, because you're going to do great. Thank you guys for joining us. And if you happen to be 26 years of age or below, or you might know someone who is below the age of 26 years, and if this is inspiring you today, I hope you will share the WSO Young Innovators Award with them for them to apply for next year, because I think these awards and these projects that come in through these awards really make a difference in each of our lives and in each of our communities. And I think it is our responsibility that we build it, we make the space for it, and we give that opportunity for them to grow and to meet people, to network and take things forward.